Hello, Dave Hill here. Welcome to the video and welcome to lesson 12 in the rhythm guitar course. I know you've been practicing hard and you've got a lot of information now up to this point, and you're really getting better at all your chords, and you're going back and reviewing all these lessons because there's a lot of information you probably didn't even catch the first time. So please make sure you go back and review some of the lessons too. All right, so up until this point we've talked a lot about playing chords, and we've talked a lot about positions of chords and how to move chords around, but we haven't talked much about rhythm and how to read rhythms. And so I thought on this lesson I would talk a little bit about the way you would read rhythms from a piece of music. And I'm going to be writing rhythms in my charts from now on, and I want to make sure that you understand the symbols and the notation that I'm using. Okay, so let's take a look at my board over here, and we'll review some of the basic concepts about counting and rhythm here, and then we'll also elaborate on that on future lessons. So I'm just going to start off with some basic concepts today, and I really would recommend that you also study out of some actual music reading books to get better at the actual concept of reading music and notation, because I can't fully explain it in these rhythm guitar lessons, but I can review some of the basic concepts and principles. Okay? So take a look at the board over here, and I want to show you a couple of things here. First of all, you'll often see a set of fractions at the beginning of any piece of music, okay, just as is over here, okay, and that is called a time signature, okay. A time signature refers to the type of rhythmic counting that you're going to be involved with this particular piece of music that you're going to read. And so a lot of music, it's very standard for a lot of music to be written in 4/4 counting time, or 4/4 time. Okay, now what that refers to exactly, and it's important to know this, is that there's 4 beats. The top number equals 4 beats in a measure, meaning that when you play a measure of music, there's going to be 4 beats before you go to the next measure of music. Okay, now those 4 beats can be divided up, subdivided as you might say, in a variety of ways, but there's going to be 4 even beats in each measure before you move to the next measure. Okay? And what the bottom number represents is what note receives the beats. Okay? So in 4/4 time, the quarter note receives the beats. Okay? Now what that means is I'm going to show you what a quarter note looks like. A quarter note on music notation is written like a little circle with a stem connecting to the note head. Okay, in terms of music notation. Now there's going to be other ways we're going to use quarter note symbols in chord rhythms, but essentially it's an oval note head and a stem, and that's the note that receives the beat in 4/4 time. So essentially that's the pulse going through the measure. So if you were to have this pulse right here, that's representing quarter notes. Okay, so that would be on my guitar. I'll just make the sound, and it would be clear if I turned off my little delay there, but it would sound just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there would be 4 of these notes per bar of 4/4 time, and that's what I've got written right here. Counted 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I played a chord in 4/4 time in a quarter note strum, it would just simply sound like this. I'm going to play a D chord. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, of course, we wanted to get into other types of rhythms other than just the downbeat of every beat, right? So there's other types of notes and rhythms that we will want to mix into those pulses, okay? So now that we've established what the time signature is referring to, and we know what the quarter note looks like, okay, we want to be able to take the quarter note and subdivide that into 2 pieces so that we can get more complex rhythms and varieties of rhythms. So now that we know that that's the pulse, and we're going to call a measure of music in 4/4 time 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. We want to get the upbeats, or the sound of my foot coming up that you can't hear is called the upbeat, okay? And these are referred to as eighth notes. The downbeat and the upbeat played together are called eighth notes. So then it would sound like this. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, notice that I counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, 1 and 2 and. I'm still referring to the downbeats as the numbers that they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, but I subdivide the upbeat, right, over here, and that's where I refer to the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now we are essentially doubling the quarter note. We're playing, instead of 4 notes per bar, we're playing 8 notes per bar. That's why they're called eighth notes. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? If you counted in a bar of 4/4, there would actually be eight of them. So it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But that's not the way you really count eighth notes. You count them. You count the downbeat as the beat that they occur on, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then you count the upbeat as the and. Okay? Now, there's also values that are larger than the quarter note and the eighth note. And the next value that's larger is what's called a half note. Okay? Now notice that the half note is an oval with the stem, but the oval's not darkened in. Okay, now that takes up literally 2 beats, or 2 half notes per bar, half the bar. So half notes against my quarter note pulse would simply sound like this. I'm going to play a chord to represent that. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 of them per bar, or 1 equals half the bar. Half notes. Okay? And then even larger than a half note is what you call a whole note. And that, notice, badly written perhaps, but is a note head without the stem attached at all. It's just literally the note head. Okay? That equals 4 beats. In a measure of 4/4, that would essentially fill the bar. So this would be a half note. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we have the quarter note now. We have twice as fast as a quarter note are the eighth notes, and we have twice as long as a quarter note, or 2 beats per bar is a half note, and 4 beats per bar is a whole note. Okay, so we're going to be able to go back and forth between these subdivisions and this notation now from this point on in our lessons. But like I said before, you really want to be able to get your hands on a music reading book to start from the basics and really go deeper with it than what we're going to be able to show you in our rhythm guitar lesson. But I wanted to expose you to those concepts so that I can at least start writing my charts now and adding this information to them. Okay? Let's take a look at the rhythms behind me here. And I've just started off just simply noting, just using quarter notes and eighth notes in some combinations, just so you could get the feel of what they're going to look like here. Notice that I used a colorful blue pin today. For some reason I just felt blue, so I put it in there. Okay, so remember, quarter notes, there's going to be 4 of them per bar. I've got 2 measures of quarter notes. These are the measures right here. Okay, and then on the third measure right here, I've got a series of eighth notes. 8 eighth notes counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? And you'll notice that when you get 2 groups of them together, 2 pairs of them together, you can actually beam them together in groups of 4. So when you start to separate them, they look like that. But if you want to beam 4 of them together, you can do it like that. Okay? They're still eighth notes though. Okay? And then finally on this last 2 measures, I've got combinations of a couple of quarter notes, 4 eighth notes, a quarter note, 2 eighth notes, a quarter note, and 2 eighth notes to finish off the last 2 measures. So let's just take the note that it is. In this case, it's an F, and I'm going to play that rhythm along with you at home. Okay, so we're going to count, and you're going to hear my foot tapping right here. And I'm going to play that rhythm along with you. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay? Very easy exercise, but if you've never been exposed to those concepts and you don't understand anything about music notation, that would be difficult. So I understand, and you'd want to keep practicing in a book and study this further. Let's try it one more time just to make sure we understand this concept in this basic example. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Okay? So that you just read 4 measures of rhythms playing a single note, but that's a big step if you've never read rhythmic notation before, so congratulations. Okay, I'm going to come back and we're going to have some more rhythms for you to practice. Hang on a second. Okay, we're back and I've got another rhythm exercise for us to practice. Okay, so let's take a look at what I've written now. I've used essentially all the information, or some of the information I've just discussed a moment ago, in just a different combination of rhythms. Okay, so notice now I've got quarter notes mixed in with eighth notes, and I've even got a half note over here, and I've just mixed it up in the same 4 measures. Let's give this a count. Okay, let's go through the count and see if you can follow along with me. I'm going to play that same F over our rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, very good. I wanted you to make sure you saw that half note. Let me try it again. I'm going to stand out of your way this time. Really give you a good chance to see it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay. Very nice, very nice. I can hear you really sounded good out there. Keep practicing. Like I said, once you get yourself a music reading book, and we'll talk about these rhythms some more. I'm going to write out a chart now in a minute, but I'm going to review one other type of rhythm before I get to my chart. Okay, hang on a second.